Vlad, you good?
Yes, sir.
All right. Tom, you good to go?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro Fan. Tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro Fan. Tune into the program. Pro Fan. Tune into the program. Pro Fan. Tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
Yo, what to do, everybody? It's your boy, John Altidor, with Pro Fan Sports Podcast, back at you with another one. My boys, Vlad, Barry, and today we got special guest, Boston Sports Tonight co-host at NBC Sports Boston, Tom Giles, man. How you doing?
I'm good, guys. How you guys doing?
We're doing
Very
really
good.
well, especially with you on the show tonight, man. How was your weekend?
It was pretty good, Did some work, wrapping up the Olympics. Watched the All-Star game, the festivities Saturday. I'd say the game was better than the festivities on Saturday, but definitely watched that. And a little Bruins action this afternoon, so it was good.
Yeah, the All-Star Weekend, I assume you're talking about. How many dunks did you count that was actually made in that dunk contest?
Oh man, it felt like 8. Were there 8 dunks made in that dunk contest? Like, it was bad. It was hard to watch, and you knew right off the bat when Cole Anthony was. At some point, I was just like, you got to change back into sneakers. I don't know if you can do it, man. I don't know if you've tried this before or not, but you can't do it.
How much time did he get to actually start that dunk? Because I felt like he took at least 5 minutes to get his first dunk off.
Yeah, it was too long. It really was. It was just kind of like either you can do it and you plan on getting it the first or second time, or you got to move on. I feel bad for the guys in that situation though, because you have to be so creative. Everyone's trying to do something new and do something different, and you're trying to come up with these new ideas, and if you can't pull it off right away, it's kind of, you just stall out.
I mean, at some point, I feel like, man, just dunk it. Whatever way you can dunk it, just go do it. Like Jalen Green there. I'm like, dude, just get a dunk in there. Something.
Exactly.
That was kind of embarrassing.
Man. It was.
Yeah,
that was ridiculous.
So many times, though, if you have a crazy pass that's involved in it, it's like, okay, well, now this is more about the pass than the dunk. So what are we really doing here? I almost this is going to be kind of a boring idea, but I think they should have like one round where you can kind of creative, you can do whatever you want with it, and then in the later rounds, like everyone's got to do a 360, everyone's got to take off from the foul line, and then I know who the best dunker is. I know who's got the best 360. I know who's got the best windmill, the best between the legs. Sounds boring, but I don't know. At least then it's kind of laid out for you.
Kind of like horse or something?
A little bit.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, also at some point, I feel like they should just bring some professional dunkers in there. Like, listen, guys, just let these guys do what they do.
I've seen better dunks on Instagram.
I'm serious, like,
For real.
Social media, man.
I think another thing they need to do, and the league's been having trouble with this, they need to get the stars in there. They need to get some more popular and well-known players who are high flyers and athletic and are really good in-game dunkers. Like, they need to get people the fans actually know. Like, the majority of the fans don't know any of those guys who are on there. Like, I know who they are because I'm a big basketball fan and follow the league pretty extensively, but most people probably had no idea who those guys were. Like, they need to get the John Morants in there, the Miles Bridges, the Anthony Edwards. Like, they need to get guys that can really put on the show and that can really put an exciting and special and great performance on. That's really gonna bring that dunk contest back to where it was in its peak years. So I think that's the biggest thing that they need to. And they also need to add some incentives too with that, you know, to get these guys. These guys keep turning it down, and it's like you gotta, you know, come up with some like incentives, even if it's money or whatever you need to do to be able to attract these guys to participate in the dunk contest.
Yeah, I mean, as far as incentives, you know, have guys dunking for charity, like whatever you need to do there.
Good idea.
That seems like the easiest one, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of what they do in the All-Star game, how both teams like play for a charities, and the winning team, you know, pretty much gets more money towards their charity. So no, I love that idea. That's great. That's awesome.
They need to do something. I mean, I felt like the 3-point contest was a little lacking too, but you know,
in the beginning, right.
In the beginning, like
was kind of trash. Yeah, right.
I feel like Steph Curry needs to be in this thing every single year, because I'm like, where are the 3-point specialists? Like, all of them should be in this thing.
Yeah, but Steph Curry had a 3-point contest on Sunday during the game.
Right.
I mean, that was just like, as soon as he was shooting on Sunday, all you could think was, you put him in the 3-point contest and that thing's done. Like, I don't see anybody
But it's
beating
exciting
him.
to watch. If he's in it, it'll be exciting to watch anyway. So,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and I know the only thing is we know Steph's gonna win. Like, it doesn't matter who else is in there. If Steph's in there, Steph's gonna win. He's already won.
Whoa, not necessarily.
You know, so it's like, you know, you could put his brother in. His brother could shoot too, and is a great shooter.
Klay Thompson.
Yeah, put the other Splash brother. Right.
Klay Thompson beat Steph Curry that year that they were both in it. So that's.
I forgot that. It's a good point, lad. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'd be all for that. Have Seth Curry, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry.
Man, wow.
Get someone else in there and just have some sort of rivalry going on, like almost like a team competition too. Like you need an individual winner, but if you have like a team competition going on as well, they'll be flipping out. They'll be going nuts for it. By the way, throughout the whole thing, I love Giannis and I love his persona and everything else. But he's just constantly just got the camera up the entire time. Like every time they got the video feed of what's going on, Giannis has just got his phone up. He's recording everything. He's
like a child, man.
Yes, he totally is.
I love it. I think he takes in everything. He just like he's one of those guys that just loves to be in the NBA and just like loves the moment. And you know, I think I'd be like him if I was in the NBA, because it's like, look at where you are, man. You know, all these guys around, you know, take it in. Yeah, man.
Sure, absolutely. No, I totally agree with that. But sure, definitely gotta, you know, enjoy in the moment, and you know, and live it up and make the best of that moment. You know, especially, you know, with special moments like that on, you know, All-Star Weekend that only happen once a year. So, you know, when you're with all the you know great players, you definitely gotta enjoy your time, you know, around those guys when you get the opportunity.
For sure. And then the game came on, and I thought that was a really good game, especially with the ceremony, you know, in between with the 75 guys that came in. I thought that was beautiful. That was really well thought out and really well done. And all these guys that came out, you know, all the legends that came out and was on the floor at the same time, you know, there's a few guys that didn't make it in there, you know, like a lot of people are talking about Kyrie Irving, you know, Tracy McGrady, you know, you guys think those are the guys that should have made the top 75?
I'll say this, you know, Ray Allen, you know, was the all-time 3-point leader, but I was kind of, when he came out, I was like, Ray Allen's in the top 75, and then you can compare him to Tracy McGrady and Kyrie Irving. You can have a conversation there. I did find it interesting, though. Kevin Garnett still wants nothing to do with Ray Allen. Like, even as he's walking by when they did that, it was like unbelievable, man. Like that grudge will never die.
No.
Yeah.
So I knew that was gonna come up in the interview, but Paul Pierce just put out a picture of all three of them together.
Yes, I saw that.
So I'm not sure if that look away was toward Ray Allen or not. I think because in that picture, KG is sitting right next to Ray Allen. So in my opinion, I think they squashed the beef.
That'd be interesting. You got the KG retirement ceremony coming up in a couple weeks, right?
On the 13th of March, right, in like 3 weeks.
So it'll be interesting to see. I don't know. I guess I wouldn't expect Ray Allen to be there, but
Yeah, I
if he's
don't
there,
think-
then I totally buy it, Vlad. I totally buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Yeah, I
better
think
show
the
up,
beef
man.
still lives on. I think the beef is still going on and not going to end anytime soon between those guys.
I think that beef is so petty. I'm like, you guys are ultra rich people, dude. Y'all won championships. Just get over it, man. Like, live your lives. But
Well, then again, we know how competitive KG is, and like,
yeah.
how
I understand that.
Right.
But it is what it is.
That level of intensity is different with KG even now, right? He still has, I'm sure, that same, level of intensity and competitiveness. So I'm not too surprised that to this day he's still like that, because he's a guy I feel like no matter how old he is, he's never going to change. He's going to be the same guy and the same person for the rest of his life.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it was a great weekend at the All-Star weekend. Beautiful ceremony, but let's pivot into what we got going on in the hometown. Talking about the Celtics, man. Right before the All-Star game, they won 9 of 10 games. Lost that last game to the Detroit Pistons, which was a downer. Tom, what do you think? Is the reason for the turnaround, and what's your outlook on the rest of the season for the Celtics?
Yeah, it's all defense first. Like that's what it's been for them. It's been all about defending. Teams are having a tough time cracking 100 points against them, and it feels like everyone's kind of bought into it. You heard Ime Udoka kind of at the beginning of the year just getting on his guys. He's been brutally honest, through the first few months of the season, but it feels like now they're kind of they're bought in and they're digging in on defense, and you can win games playing deep. I mean, as far as kind of moving forward, I expect them to be the team that won 9 in a row and not the team that gave up a late lead to Detroit, which we did see at times like early in the regular season. I feel like this team should come out of the gate playing really well. And it's almost like you go back 3 or 4 years ago and the Celtics lost a game like they did to Detroit, back on Wednesday night. That was kind of like those once in 20 games that would happen to them when they're playing really well 3 or 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like that should be them in the second half of the year. Like you're going to have a game where you get tripped up every once in a while, but just as long as it's not, oh God, here we go. It's like every other night you're going to have some sort of issue where you're losing a game you shouldn't lose.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been very impressed with the Celtics defensively throughout the whole year. Even when they weren't playing well defensively, you could always tell that they had it defensively. It's offensively, I think, where they're lacking. And the Celtics offense is 18th in the league currently, and no team have won the championship with an offense that's less than 11th in the league. What are the chances of the Celtics going deep in the playoff and hopefully making it to the finals or something like that? What are the chances? What do you think?
I mean, it's all about matchups and kind of health and where everyone's at. Here's the big thing, too, for the second half of the season. I think Robert Williams, everything kind of hinges on his health, So he's dealing with a calf issue, but you have to have Rob Williams. You can't replace him. There's only a handful of guys in the league that even can do what he does. So he's so vital to what they do in the second half and what they do in the playoffs. Like, they have to have a healthy Rob Williams. But I don't know. After they blew out Philadelphia, I kind of maybe overreact a little bit. I was like, I think they can beat Philadelphia in a playoff series even when Philly gets James Harden. I think they can, they can compete with them. I don't think anyone is outstanding in the East. I still wouldn't want to face Milwaukee in a playoff series. And if Brooklyn gets healthy, once they get everybody back, Durant and Ben Simmons is out there, and if Ben Simmons is anything, I still don't think you want to face Brooklyn. But I think they can compete with any other team in the Eastern Conference. So it's all about matchups and health. I know that's a cop-out, but like I could see them. They can. They're capable of making a run in the postseason.
How do they get better offensively, though? I think like I said, defensively they've been great, but offensively, after the trade deadline, they got Derek White, and I was hoping they could improve their shooting, but I don't think they really did that. How can they improve offensively to make sure they have success?
I think that again, like the ball movement has been huge for them, and they've just had some times where they haven't shot well. Like Jason Tatum went through that rut at one point where it was you couldn't really explain it. He was missing wide open threes. They weren't even tough threes. It's if they're just taking open looks, because part of the problem with them in the first half of the season was they were just taking a ton of threes, and they're not a good 3-point shooting team. So it's a lot of it's just, hey, get to the basket, but also sharing the ball. I think that Derek White is huge for that. I think that, he's a guy that can find the open man. He can also make some of the winning plays that we always say Marcus Smart can make. So I think Derek White's just another point guard that can help in that regard. But offensively, and you have to give Marcus Smart a ton of credit too, because when he came back from his injury, it was all about just pass, find the open guy, almost to the point where it was like, I'm not taking even 5 shots tonight. I'm just going to pass this one. If I get a wide open look, I'm getting another assist. I'm just going to keep racking them up. So to me, it's ball movement more than anything.
No, for sure. Absolutely. And that kind of leads to the, question I was going to ask you. And I know a lot of you, have been questioning this really for the last several years, is that do you believe, that Tatum and Brown and Smart can coexist and sustain the, level of, good basketball that we've seen from these guys within the last month or so? Do you think those guys can actually be able to be like a core of a championship team, or do you think they might have to, move one of them and maybe keep like Tatum and Brown? What are your thoughts on that?
I've always been a big believer in keeping Tatum and Brown together. I think they can coexist. I did come around to the idea that, if you have to trade Marcus Smart, you have to trade Marcus Smart. But since he came back from injury, he's been really good. He's been strong for them. But that would be the piece that I would move first before even considering moving Jaylen Brown. And you're just never trading Jason Tatum. That would be a mistake. I can't ever do it. But I would be inclined to kind of just try to see what it looks like without Marcus Smart if and when you get to that point.
Especially now that they have Derek White, which is like a carbon copy of Marcus Smart.
Yeah. It was the one play in particular at the end of the Detroit game when Derek White came up with that steal on the sideline inbound pass, and I was like, oh well, there's a winning play. Like,
That's true.
Marcus, come on, man, other guys can make winning plays.
Right. You're not the only one, bro. Exactly. No, absolutely. Yeah, but other question I wanted to ask you, Tom, was just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on Ime Udoka and what you think about him and how he's done in his first year coaching this team.
I think when you look at what they were at the start of the year to where they are now, he certainly seems like he's got the room, and the guys are listening to him, and they've made a lot of improvements. I love the fact that he kind of, he stuck to his guns early on. He was just calling guys out, calling out effort defensively. He's brutally honest during press conferences. I loved that from the start. It was totally different than what we would hear from Brad Stevens, who would just try to take the blame of every loss. And you're just like, well, it's not on you, Brad. It was on the players. So I like that. I like that Ime was not afraid to call guys out. And then you watch what they're doing now, and you feel better about what he's saying about the team now, or you feel better about the guys kind of buying into what he's doing. We were kicking it around a week ago. Are the Celtics already in better shape with Ime and Brad in the front office than they were a year ago with Brad and Danny? And I think they are in better shape because we saw Brad go out and actually make moves at the deadline and get guys and bring guys in that seem to be a good mix so far, and Ime's got a lot to do with that.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just wanted to ask, what are your thoughts on the bench? And because I feel like the bench is kind of really iffy, for lack of a better word. Do you think they can get enough production from those guys, because we already know what the starting lineup can do when healthy. You know, they're one of the better units in the league. But do you think they can get enough from the bench to make a deep run in the playoffs? What do you think on that?
I think you only need about 7 or 8 guys to really that you have to rely on in the playoffs. So you should be okay. But if you lose one guy and then you have to rely on, you know, Aaron Nesmith or Peyton Pritchard to give you meaningful minutes, they haven't given them that opportunity this year. And I don't think it's because, you know, the Ime's doesn't like them or that he wants to, you know, he's trying to win every single game, so he's not going to give them minutes. They just kind of haven't answered the call. I still would like to see them get more minutes, especially Aaron Nesmith, who, you know, it seems like it always takes him a couple minutes to get going every single game he plays in.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, and sometimes he has to miss a couple shots. It'd be great if you could just step on the floor, make your first, and then, you know, your next 2 are free.
Yep.
That's kind of the role they need him to step into. But those guys just haven't gotten kind of enough playing time, and it has been frustrating. If you're going to be a 500 team for the first half of the year, I'd like to see the young guys play more so that they've got more experience when you do get to the postseason if you need them.
How important will Grant Williams be for the Celtics in the playoffs?
I think Grant's become a huge part of this entire run. I actually was thinking, you know, like when people are talking about trades in the offseason and they're including Grant Williams in a trade package, I was thinking, who wants Grant Williams? Like, I don't see what kind of value Grant Williams has, man. I just going into the year, I'm thinking he's like a fringe NBA player. Like but he has developed a huge role. I mean, defensively, he's just got so much better, and he's become that corner 3 guy.
Yeah,
so it's like he's just identified a couple things that he's really good at, and rather than being, you know, kind of what he was coming out of Tennessee when he was someone who could do a little bit of everything. Now it just feels like, all right, the corner 3 is my thing. I'm going to continue to do that, and I'm going to be the guy who gets in other guys' faces, opponents' faces, and he's going to D you up. And Grant's actually become a big part, much bigger than I thought he would be at this point in the season.
I might be getting ahead of myself here saying this, but it just reminds me of the role that James Eddie House played in that playoff run. I mean, offensively at least, with the 3-pointers.
Yeah. And Eddie was pretty. That was it, man. He was just getting. You knew he was going to knock those down.
Yeah,
Here's
exactly.
the thing.
Yeah.
With Grant, we're kind of still like, well, they keep going in. I mean, I guess we should expect him to go in, but I don't know. I still feel a little bit surprised every time he does it. With Eddie, it was like, no, there's an established shooter there. You knew you were getting out of Eddie.
Let's hope he can become consistent, and we can just expect those corner 3s out of him.
Yeah, I mean, it's been huge because, again, this team's just been so bad at shooting 3s throughout much of the year that there have been nights where Grant Williams is just by far their best 3-point shooter. And I think he's probably, you know, making himself some money this season.
Yeah, let's hope so.
No, for sure. I was actually going to say real quick, I thought the better comparison to Grant Williams would be James Posey, him, you know, being that.
Yeah,
I was thinking that too.
Right. You know, being able to, like you said, knock down the corner 3 ball, you know, stretch out the floor and, you know, be that floor spacer and shot maker that, you know, they need around Tatum and Brown. And then also being able to defend, you know, at a high level and very well on the other end, you know, and be able to move his feet and, you know, and be able to play the pick and roll, switch on the pick and rolls, and even guard the guards out there in the perimeter. So, yeah, I think that'd be a better comparison. But, yeah, he's streaky. They say that's what his shooting is to me. When he's hot, you know, he can knock him down. But when he's cold, he's ice cold. So, yeah, he still needs to work on that consistency from 3.
He kind of reminds me a little bit of PJ Tucker, just kind of like an undersized big man.
Another good one.
Yeah, who can D
that
up.
Is a good
and
comparison.
PJ Tucker kind of, you know, turned into that 3-and-D guy too.
3-and-D.
Who could play down low and get you rebounds.
Yeah, Tom, we got you for another minute, I believe. What do you think? You know, what do you think about the team? Because I know now we're going to look at the buyout market. Do you think the team is okay how it is right now, or do you see somebody that we could possibly kick the tires on in the buyout market?
Yeah, I don't know specific players, but they should continue to look at it. I mean, really, when you're talking about their bench, part of it too is like if you bring in the right guys, it seems like it creates a spark. You know, I think that Derek White kind of was that. You know, coming off after the trade deadline. Think about the first game that Derek White played in. You know, Jalen and Tatum didn't even play well in that game. Like, they had bad nights, and they still won that game. I think that was against Denver because Derek White stepped up and made some huge plays, and Rob Williams was huge in that game. But, yeah, they have to keep exploring the buyout market. You got to, you know, maybe just some veteran presence. This team's kind of – if they've kind of maybe lacked a little bit of that kind of veteran guy who's been on a championship team before. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if you brought in a guy who sits on the end of the bench, doesn't even play, but he's been there. He's been in the finals. He's been a part of a championship team. I would still love that.
No,
Yeah, I don't.
Absolutely.
I don't
Do we
believe
have
we
time
have
for
anybody
one more?
now.
One last one, real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, appreciate that, Tom. So just wanted to get this question in. Who do you have for your top 5 Boston sports athletes?
Top 5 right now?
Of all time. Of all time.
Oh, of all time.
For you personally, in no order.
Okay, well then I'm gonna go with guys that were actually in my lifetime, if I can. I'm just gonna go with guys in my lifetime. You gotta throw David Ortiz in there, Tom Brady. I wasn't really alive much for the Larry Bird era, so it's kind of hard to put Larry Bird in there. So I think you'd have to, if you're going to go with the Celtic from that era, you got to go Paul Pierce. Just because he stuck it out here, you know, he's a part of some bad teams, and then, you know, became a champion. Obviously, when they got Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen, I think Patrice Bergeron deserves a lot of consideration on that list as well. And I mean, you can go in a number of different directions for the 5th one because you can go back to any sports. But man, if you're talking about a guy who was just absolutely dominant and was just the best at what he did for a couple of years there, Pedro Martinez was absolutely amazing. I think Pedro gets slept on a lot in this city, man.
Oh, absolutely.
That like 99 All-Star game, just those years he had, late 90s or 2000, like he was so good.
Oh, nasty.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Filthy.
I love the games with the K's keep going up. They just kept going up, man. It's like, it was awesome.
Yeah,
he was unhittable.
Was that 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah,
I tried to go around the world and try to,
Did you? Maybe I missed this. Did you not say Tom Brady?
No, I said Tom Brady.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I kind of moved through that one quickly. I mentioned him second. He will be number 1. I mentioned second. He will be number 1.
My bad. I might have missed it.
No. I of course, I'm not that crazy. I wouldn't be that great. You guys would have been like, all right, thanks for coming on. This guy doesn't know who Tom Brady is. Get him out of here.
Crazy, man.
Oh,
Tom,
that would have been nuts.
It was a pleasure to have you on. And we know you got to go. You're doing big things tonight. You know, we'll continue watching you. Thanks so much for coming on. We really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. And let's do it again sometime.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Welcome back anytime.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Have a good night.
You too, Tom. Thank you so much. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you guys. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, man. You know, for the people that are watching, you might not realize this is our 100th episode, man.
Yes, sir.
This is episode 100, man. You know?
Yes, we did it. We did it. Yes, sir.
I don't know. You know, we've been at this for a while now. It feels like we got so many episodes, but we're on episode 100, man, and it's been a blast, man. We've had so many people on recently that's made the show so much better. And, you know, I think shout outs to you guys for sticking on for a whole 100 episode. You know what I'm saying? We see a lot of podcasts that start and, you know, pretty soon after members are gone. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, guys don't see eye to eye. And I feel like, you know, we've created a good team here and we've just stayed consistent with everything. So congrats to you guys, man. Shout outs to y'all.
Yeah, congrats to you guys as well. 100th episode is not a small thing. It took almost 2 years to reach that, and 2 years is a long time as well. Yeah, it's been fun interviewing all these great great media members and athletes. It's been fun for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
man.
absolutely. I definitely share those same sentiments that you guys have. It means definitely a lot to me that we're able to reach 100 episodes. Is big accomplishment and number that I'm sure we've had set on our minds for a while. And reaching this milestone in which we have. So I'm definitely extremely grateful and thankful. To have reached the big 100, and to be able to be doing this with you guys. I'm certainly glad that you guys let me be a part of this and gave me that opportunity, and I'm definitely appreciative of that, and I'm blessed to be able to be on this podcast and be able to make it what it is today. Having big time media members like Tom Giles today, and all the other media members we've had, even the players that we had who used to play professionally, which is certainly been a blessing to have those guys on and have them give us their time to be on the show. So it's been an amazing and incredible journey, and something that that means a lot to me, means the world to me, and I'm certainly feel great and ecstatic about about reaching this number, and I'm excited and looking forward to the next 100 if we can make it there. I'm sure we will.
Another 100, huh? What are you guys looking forward to for the next 100 episodes? Any way you guys think the show should change, or anything you guys are looking forward to doing?
Hopefully interviewing, more awesome people, and
Let's get Tom Brady on here, right? So,
something like that. That would be great.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And what's funny is that you mentioned that is because I've actually tried reaching out to his camp, and I haven't gotten a response yet. So fingers crossed that one of these days, guys, we get lucky and and get fortunate, and
you got to hit up. You got to hit up
us to and gives us gives us the time to come on the show. Like she said, that's probably one of my dream guests to to come on. It's Tom.
You got to hit up Jim Gray, man. You got to hit him up on the Let's Go podcast, right? Can we borrow him for a minute?
Right, because then maybe that'll get Tom Brady's attention, right? Because that's Tom Brady's main man. That's his right-hand man, right. Because he always does interviews with Jim Gray, whenever Jim Gray asks him to do an interview or a podcast. So and it's funny because I've actually tried hitting up Jim Gray too, and stuff, and still haven't heard from him. So I'm still waiting for that response. So fingers crossed, that he responds as well, and and is down to come on the show. That'd be awesome to have him on as well. He's a legend too in the sports broadcasting field, one of the best in the business.
Absolutely, man. And I want to make sure we thank our supporters, everybody that's been listening to us all this time, supporting us, liking our content, commenting on our content, all our subscribers that keep coming. And by the way, make sure if you're not subscribed already, make sure you're doing that right now. Our stats say 85% of the people that pay attention to our content are not subscribed. So make sure you guys are subscribing. That's how you support the show. That's how you help us keep going. The more subscribers we are, the better we're doing on YouTube. So make sure you're subscribing, liking, commenting. Make sure you're following us on social media as well. We're at ProFans Sports on everything except for Instagram, and that's at ProFans_sports. This was episode 100. Stick with us for another 100 episodes, man. So until episode 101, thank you for watching. We'll catch y'all. Peace out.
Peace, everyone. Have a good week. See y'all next week on episode 101.